Welcome back. I'm Lee Tyrell. Gas prices make it painful to fill up at the pump, but what if you could fill up less often or rarely at all? Tonight on Talk with Tyrell, how advances in electric vehicles are changing the auto and electronics industries. I'm joined right now by Brian Fuller. He's the editorial director of Electronic Engineering Times, or EE Times. It's a publication of United Business Media of Manhasset. Brian's been driving a Chevy Volt across the country to test the car and also to discuss electronics innovations with engineers, entrepreneurs, and even students all along the way. Pretty much how to build a better mousetrap. Brian, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much for having us.
How's the trip been so far? I know this is kind of like a home stop for you. Thanks for adding us to your list.
It's been crazy. We've been on the road since
July, right?
July 10th in Chicago, Midwest, down into Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, up to Boston, and now we're getting, pardon the pun, a very chilly reception here with the snow coming in.
We are actually very surprised to get to see how the Chevy Volt does in cold, and also how it does possibly driving in snow.
It's actually one of the most popular questions we get from our engineering audience when we talk to them and do interviews on the road is, how's it perform in the cold?
Of course.
I don't know yet.
We need
We'll
to know.
find
You're
out.
about to find out. We hate paying the gas prices. We would all love the perfect green car, one that doesn't need a lot of gas, one that we can plug in and charge up rather quickly, one that we can afford, one that looks cool, and one that can keep up with the cars on the LIE. How are we doing so far with that industry here in this country?
We're getting pretty close.
Okay.
The Afford is going to be the big challenge because the battery technology is obviously what drives the electric cars. Battery technology right now, because we haven't ramped the volume, just is pretty expensive. So, but everything else in terms of drivability, you can have an extended range vehicle like the Volt and some others. The Prius is coming out next year, right, as a plug-in. So the convenience factor isn't a question anymore, but it's just going to be the cost. As the industry ramps, as we get an infrastructure and people get more comfortable with it, I think those battery prices will come down.
What are the innovators that you're talking to as you cross the country? What are they telling you? How are they telling you to make this technology better?
In a lot of little ways and a lot of big ways.
Besides the little Post-it notes. If you look on the website, that will give you a link to their Post-it notes all over the car.
Yeah,
at
so
various stops.
We got about 50 of those at a stop up in Boston at Analog Devices. A lot of things had to do with drivability and navigation, power electronics, all kinds of stuff that our engineering audience is very interested in. But then things like, put Tom Cruise in the seat.
Yeah,
Comments.
That was on the wishful thinking list, right?
Yeah, definitely wishful thinking.
What have you been most surprised about by the technology so far as you're driving this car across the country?
Two things. It's a really comfortable car, and I'm not a big GM fan, but this is a really well-made car, and it's easy to use. My only quibble with it is they could redesign the navigation console because it's not really user-intuitive. It's hard to work with.
So that's been the biggest disappointment, because that was my next question. What's been the biggest disappointment for you as you drive across the country in an electric car?
That's it. We've had one software glitch with it, which we're trying to figure out which button we push when it throws the display into a continuous loop. We're not sure which, but that's been a problem.
How about charging it?
Charging it, because you can charge it on 120. We have about a 20-foot long connector. We could plug it in the outside of your building.
You could, huh?
If we wanted to pull out sleeping bags and sleep all night.
So, and we'd love to have you there. We'll make it as comfortable for you as we can in our green room. What do you believe is the future of the technology here? What's the next step after this test run that you do is over?
For the technology in general?
Yeah.
The next step is making it more widely available to the audience. Now, the electronics industry makes things smaller, less expensive every 18 months. We call that Moore's Law.
Right.
They're working on battery technology all over this country. That's one of the things that we found on the Drive for Innovation is we're not lacking for innovation in this country anywhere, or manufacturing.
Got to work together, though.
So we got to get the cost of the electronics down, and we have to get people's fears over that little hump, because they shouldn't worry about range anymore.
That's right. We've got to learn to work with the electric cars now, because they are a lot different than we first thought about them when they first came out. And just like the Prius, by the way, Brian says the Chevy Volt is very quiet. We
It
appreciate
is.
you so much. Have a safe trip. I know you still have several more months to go as you head towards the West Coast as well. So
All the way till July.
Talk to us again when you're done. I can't wait to see how the rest of the trip goes. If you want to learn some more information about the Drive for Innovation, we've got a link at news12.com, and click on the Numbers and Links tab. You can see all the fun that Brian has been having and what the car looks like and how it works. Believe it or not, he's going to get to test it in cold weather. A wintry storm is on the way. Samantha tells us what to expect.